It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. So we're giving you a first alert that this weekend there might be some severe weather in parts of the region. We'll take a look at the map and show you exactly where that is. Plus we'll talk about how much longer this drier feeling air will last, because there are signs that things are going to increase with the humidity and with the rain chances. So let me take you right to the map. This is the severe weather risk that the Storm Prediction Center is highlighting for Saturday and Saturday night. Notice it includes the entirety of the state of Arkansas, and it includes a portion of northern and western Mississippi. So we can zoom in a little bit closer, show you some of the locations impacted, including Tunica, Oxford, Greenville. At some point on Saturday night, there could be some severe weather in that neck of the woods. What we are forecasting is for there to be some showers and thunderstorms that will be on the move. These will be basically in a linear format, so in a line, and they're going to move from Arkansas toward the south and east. So they're going to be moving like this. But the question is, once they get to the middle part of the state, do the severe storms keep on going down toward the coast, or do they just kind of turn weaker? They lose their storm energy, and instead they're just some rain showers, and instead the rain showers come down to the coast. So that's going to be the question that we take a closer look at in this video and see what some of the modeling is showing. But again, those are those areas that are highlighted for that severe weather risk, and we'll get back to that in a moment. But first, let's switch gears and talk about the current conditions. So it's dry out there. We got a lot of sunshine. I'm sure that you are still enjoying these nice fall-like conditions in the mornings with pretty comfortably cool conditions. In some spots it has been chilly. We have seen some 50s, but it's only that way in the morning. You know, it's still going to warm up quite a bit in the afternoon. We're looking at afternoon highs getting into the middle and upper 80s today. For mid-October, usually lower 80s is your normal high. So these are above normal, and it's definitely hot enough with all of this sunshine that if you got a car parked outside in a parking lot and you're trying to open the door and get in the afternoon, you're going to get hit with a wall of heat when you open that parked car door trying to get into the car. You know, it's like 120 degrees inside of the car sitting in that sun. And it's like, well, what good did the chilly morning do me if it's going to feel this hot in the afternoon? At least it's a dry heat. I guess it could be worse. We could see the humidity ticking up, which might actually happen later this week. Before we get to that, though, let's talk about tonight. We're still looking at chilly 50s in many of the southern Mississippi areas that are to the north of I-10. Along the coast by the beaches, we'll probably get some lower 60s. Now, there's a look at the next 3 days. We're going to see a gradual increase in the humidity. The humidity numbers, we'll take a look at those here. Remember this dew point number, the higher it goes, the muggier the air feels. The lower it goes, the drier the air feels. And today it is pleasant. Those numbers are in the 50s, so it feels nice and crisp for Tuesday. Fast forward to tomorrow, and we're already starting to see some places lose that pleasant feel. You'll notice that most along the coast, including Pascagoula, Goshen, Ocean Springs, Biloxi, Gulfport, Long Beach, Pass Christian, and Waveland Bay, St. Louis, and maybe even parts of Diamond Head, since they'll be downwind of the bay with the wind coming in from the east. So those are all places by tomorrow where it might not feel as crisp. Now, if you're to the north of the coast, other places, including Van Cleve, Saussure, Picayune, Poplarville, Wiggins, Lucedale, it might still feel kind of nice tomorrow. You might still continue the crispness on Wednesday. But by Thursday, everyone is down into that green color there. So we will get that boost of mugginess no matter where you are, the deeper we go into the week. Today we're all dry. Tomorrow only some of us are dry. But by Thursday, there will be a slight uptick in the mugginess. And this is going to continue to go up Friday, continue to go up this weekend. It's going to be downright muggy this weekend. but then we get some improvement when it turns dry again next week, thanks to a cool front. That front will have some rain chances associated with it, and this is the same system that is going to try to kick up some severe weather in northern Mississippi this weekend. If you have some weekend plans, this is a look at the rain outlook. Notice it's dry Tuesday, dry Wednesday, dry Thursday, dry for pretty much all Friday. And even when we have some rain chances on Saturday down here on the Mississippi coast, these might just be some pop-up showers that maybe they don't do much in the morning. Maybe we see a few pop-up showers around lunchtime, and then they kind of quiet down later on in the afternoon. But then the front comes in Saturday night, basically after midnight, which is also known as Sunday morning. And that's when we get to some more continuous and widespread rain potential. And you got multiple blocks of red in a row. So that time frame starting around Sunday morning and possibly continuing into the middle of the day on Sunday, that will be when we see kind of your best, most widespread chances for rain this weekend. So that includes your Sunday morning church plans. It includes Sunday morning brunch plans. Be thinking now that there might be some rain in the area. Hopefully not any severe weather, but we'll take a look at that in a moment in my next graphic. The payoff is that even though part of Sunday might be wet, look at these green blocks coming in for Sunday PM, indicating that, okay, you might need the umbrella Sunday, but maybe not all day. Maybe we get to some drier stuff Sunday PM, and eventually Sunday night into Monday, the air turns less humid, and you're back to the drier pattern by next Monday. By the way, this does not look like it's going to be enough rain to bust the drought. We can take a look at some of the amounts. Depending on which model you look at, might show different numbers. Here's the GFS computer model. How much rain are we seeing this weekend? The model's answer, about a ½ inch to 1 inch in most areas. Switch the model to a different computer model. This is the European model. Ask it, how much rain are we going to see this weekend in South Mississippi? The answer is about the same. Most areas, about a ½ inch to 1 inch. And then maybe one isolated spot could get some higher or heavier totals. Not enough. Even if you get 2 inches of rain out of this, it's not going to be enough to put a decent dent in the drought. So, but any rain that we get is helpful as far as the drought situation is concerned. So here's a look at those latest rain chances based on the latest adjustments to the forecast. You got 0% Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a 10% on Friday, a 30% on Saturday, just because we might see some pop-up showers. But then we go to Saturday overnight, basically after midnight, which is also called Sunday morning. And then we go to the rest of Sunday, and we do see that 40% there. I would say it's in the 40 to 60% range based on the current information, but those numbers might change up, change down as we continue to make those adjustments as we get new data each day. So you can check back for the latest on those finalized numbers, what they ultimately will wind up. But then you look at Monday, the latest timing suggests it's going to be drier by then as the rain moves out of the area. So without further ado, let's get to the futurecast. And let's start Sunday or Saturday morning. And first of all, there's that area that we started off at the top of the video. You can see it highlighted over much of Arkansas and northwestern Mississippi, which does, like we showed you, include parts of Oxford, for example, and Greenville and, I believe, Tunica. So Saturday morning, where's all the severe weather? If there's any at all, it's probably going to be up in this zone, Missouri, northwest Arkansas. Notice down here on the coast, we do see a few pop-up showers possible at times on Saturday morning. They're probably not going to be severe, but we could see some pop-up showers. There we go with Saturday afternoon. We're still seeing maybe a few pop-up showers in parts of South Mississippi. The severe threat beginning to materialize in this area here as the daytime heating increases. You know, we're in the afternoon, things are warming up. You have all of this humidity being fed into this line of storms coming straight out of the Gulf. So this line of storms is feeding on moist Gulf air, moisture-rich Gulf air. It's also feeding off of the warmth of the day. Temperatures will be into the 80s. So those are things that can help to get thunderstorms to begin developing, and they're probably going to continue to do that in that highlighted area you see for Saturday PM. So watch when we go from 1 p.m. into the overnight And you do see that the yellow showing up there. You see these little dots of yellow indicating some embedded thunderstorms. And this would be that time frame when they're beginning to impact the northern part of the state. So you can see maybe some severe weather near Oxford, Mississippi, Saturday evening, Saturday night, based on this current modeling. On the coast, we're still fine. We went the whole day Saturday and we didn't see any severe weather move in. So we're probably fine based on the current timing for your Saturday plans, other than just some pop-up hit or miss showers. Now, overnight into Sunday morning, that's when all of this stuff is going to begin to roll down toward the coast. And the question is, will it stay severe? The answer today is probably not, based on the current timing. In order to keep those storms, keep their punch, keep their fuel, keep their energy, you would kind of need it to be a different time of day. And with it being 10 o'clock Saturday night, the daytime heating is waning, it's fading, so you don't really have as much daytime heating to fuel the storms. So whatever severe weather might be ongoing in North Mississippi Saturday evening, it might get a little bit weaker as it gets closer to the coast. That's the current thinking, and that's why you don't find the Mississippi coast underneath a severe weather risk outline from the Storm Prediction Center. Because there's a possibility that we might lose some of that storm energy as we go from Saturday night into early Sunday morning. So that's good news for us. That means that maybe coastal Mississippi might get spared from the severe threat with this. As we show the timing, we see that getting closer to the coast, but then we lose the severe as we get to sunrise Sunday. Again, it might have some downpours with this, but as far as tornadoes, as far as large damaging hail, as far as damaging wind gusts over 60 miles an hour, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, right now it seems less likely for that to be a thing for us because of the timing. So the timing is key. If this sort of activity were arriving on the Mississippi coast at like 4 p.m. or 7 p.m., be a whole different ball game. We probably have a highlight or an outline for severe weather. But because it's 4 a.m. and 7 a.m., it's a whole different atmosphere. You don't have the same type of setup, the same type of support for severe weather development in the early morning hours. And so with that kind of minus in the storm energy category, it looks like those showers might be mostly showers by that point in time. Looking at mainly just some rain showers, maybe some embedded downpours, like I said. But as far as severe weather is concerned, might not have to worry too much about that at that point of time. Again, it's not like it's set in stone right now, but right now that is the current thinking, just some showers that we could be dealing with around Sunday morning for some of your Sunday AM plans. But again, check back on the forecast as these details might change. Maybe the front gets faster and this stuff gets here earlier, or the front slows down and this stuff gets here later. If the timing changes, then that could also, like I just explained, it could also change the severe potential. Right now, with an arrival around sunrise, it's kind of perfect for the least severe potential. If this slows down and the arrival time is like Sunday afternoon, that makes it worse for our severe potential. We could actually get some severe weather out of this. If it speeds up and it gets here Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, that could also make it worse for the Mississippi coast severe potential. So with this type of timing, Sunday early in the morning, that's actually pretty good to keep our severe potential limited in coastal Mississippi, and any of the severe storms that were up in the northern part of the state, they might basically be weakening the closer they get down to the coast. Now, as we continue with the timing here, notice that this is rapidly on the move. By the time we get to Sunday afternoon, we might find that front already moving out of the area and things are already starting to dry up, so that by the time we get to Monday, it's just completely dry here. You can see this drier air into the area. And again, I basically can rewind this. This is Sunday afternoon, and we're already we're already able to salvage half of Sunday with this current timing. We could actually already start to see drier air moving in, with the showers just kind of exiting and going over into Georgia. And maybe they might have to watch for a severe threat, because that timing, Sunday afternoon, if any of this activity here takes advantage of the warm conditions, the daytime heating, that might fuel a few thunderstorms to pop, and maybe things get a bit more stormy. Maybe there's a bit more thunder with some of that activity later in the day as it moves off to our east. So that's what we're watching for you here, is what we're tracking in the First Alert Weather Center for your weekend. Pop-up showers possible Saturday, and then we could get into a situation with more widespread showers overnight into early Sunday. And, you know, we got the question, will severe thunderstorms weaken before they reach us? Today's answer is probably, but it's only based on the current timing. If the timing shifts, that changes the answer. But with today's timing, the answer is, yeah, probably we'll see the severe threat weaken for us, as long as the timing doesn't change. And then if the timing also doesn't change, we could manage to salvage the second half of Sunday. And even though Sunday morning might start off with some showers, a few rumbles, maybe some downpours in a few spots, Sunday afternoon will actually, you know, find drier weather and eventually lower humidity. I don't think the lower humidity will really hit until Sunday night. And then it will definitely be noticeable by the time we get to Monday. You will notice a drier feel Monday, next Monday, even though Sunday and Saturday will be quite humid. And when you, again, I mentioned this yesterday, it's going to be much more humid. Today, the high is 85 or so. And with the lower humidity, it will actually be, you know, kind of comfortable if you are in the shade. But once we get to Saturday and the high is 84, the humidity will be much higher. So it won't be as comfortable. So it's all about the heat index. And our heat index for today probably will only be in the middle 80s, which is the same as the temperature. But by the time we get to Saturday, the heat index will probably be in the 90s. So it will feel hotter because it is becoming more humid, and that higher humidity makes it feel hotter. But then, like I said, we get the cool front to get here Sunday, and then the humidity comes back down next Monday. And, you know, if you look at the long-range forecast, I think we're probably done with 90-degree temperatures for the remainder of the year. Look at this 10-day forecast here for high temperatures. We're not looking at the mornings, we're looking at the afternoons. And look at the trend. As we go deeper into October, you've got October 23rd, October 24th. High temperature might not even hit 80. So we're not going up. You know, that could be a possibility. The temperatures could trend up, but they're not. They're actually trending down as we get toward the late part of October. And that means we're probably leaving 90 degrees in the rear view. Typically, you tend to see the final 90-degree day of the year in late September. There's never been a 90-degree day beyond late October. So we're getting to that time where it's toast as far as the historical records are concerned. And if you look at just the last few years, last year, really the last 3 years, our final 90-degree day of the year was in October. The last time we hit 90 this year in Gulfport, Biloxi was last month. So I think that might have been the one, y'all. I don't think we're going to see it return. It's not like we're seeing any kind of major cold blast here, but it's just getting harder and harder to get the high temperature to hit 90 as the duration of daylight continues to shrink, these shorter days here. As we get further away from summer and closer to winter, there's just not enough daylight hours to get that temperature to climb all the way to 90. The sun angle is also shorter. The sun is not as direct on us, so it doesn't heat us up as much this time of year as it does during the summer. So yeah, we're stepping in the right direction. I know it's not the chilly afternoons that some of you might be wanting, but at least we're getting away from the type of summer-like afternoons with highs in the 90s. Well, that'll pretty much do it for today's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. We'll continue to track that weekend rain chance for you. Right now, it looks like the coast could be spared from the severe, but check back as we'll have updates on any changes as we get closer to the weekend.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.